Self-determination theory is a motivational theory originating from the University of Rochester. Its purpose was to determine what factors go into intrinsic motivation, self-regulation, and well-being. The resulting research indicated that there were three basic factors that determined how high a level of intrinsic motivation a person would have: autonomy, competence, and connectedness. So looking at autonomy, this is the idea of providing some level of control. People feel more motivation when they feel like they have an impact over what they're doing. Competence points to the motivation of having just the right amount of challenge. Too easy and you're insulting someone's intelligence. Too hard and they tend to give up. Connectedness. So this is the idea of feeling motivation by being able to share an experience with others, whether that be through a collaborative project or showing off some kind of award. That connected social feeling adds to the motivation and intrinsic motivation. So let's start with autonomy. When setting up some level of autonomy in your classroom, you should make sure that the decisions you're providing students have an impact on what they're doing. For example, in a video game, often players have multiple pathways to choose from. They're able to develop their characters in a way that they feel represents them best. They're able to choose strategies that showcase their strengths. Autonomy is all about active involvement in learning versus passive. If students feel they have some level of control over how they gain knowledge, they are much more motivated to participate. Some great examples of this in the classroom are providing a menu of options for students to choose from, providing open-ended assignments where students can use their creativity to display their learning, and any kind of choose-your-own-adventure dynamic that you can bring to the classroom. The next factor that impacts intrinsic motivation is competence, and specifically providing just the right level of difficulty so that students can feel competent. This is an area where classrooms can learn from games. Games are very skilled at helping learners get from the beginning to the end and develop the skills they need to do so along the way. There are a lot of factors that make games successful in this area, such as celebrating achievements and providing support when players are struggling, but one of the most important factors is the idea of replayability, or removing the stigma from failure, which is a big issue in the classroom. Students who feel fear of failure tend to take fewer risks and grow less as a result. But in games, players know that they can keep trying and keep trying and keep trying until they master the skill they need to move on to the next level. So to encourage this failure is okay mindset and ensure that students are willing to take risks, we need to find a way to show that every effort counts, that every effort is a positive, not a negative. So when you think about the classic assignment, most students start at 100 and they have only opportunities to lose points. So if we take that idea and flip it, where every student starts at 0 and have opportunities to choose points that can add up to 100, they can see that every effort, even if it's not a perfect effort, will gain them ground towards an overall goal. So they can begin to choose the challenges that fit them best and build their way to 100 rather than starting at 100 and only having an opportunity to fail. And so the final factor in the self-determination model that impacts intrinsic motivation is connectedness, or feeling related to someone else based on the learning experience. So that learning is reinforced when it's shared in some way. That social experience can take a lot of forms, whether it's a collaborative project where students feel some accountability to their peers, or a reflection period afterwards where students can compare notes and share how the experience seemed from their perspective, or any kind of celebration of efforts made. Some great examples of this in the classroom include developing a badge system so that you can provide students unique affirmations for reaching milestones and taking risks, including leaderboards to provide some healthy competition, usually best done through team competition, providing reflection time so that students can compare notes and break down the experience with their peers, including collaborative projects, especially open-ended ones, where students feel some accountability with each other, and providing any kind of celebration in the classroom so that students know their efforts are valued, especially efforts that allow them to grow over time and take risks. So reflect on your own environment, as well as some of your favorite games, through the lens of these 3 factors, and try to find ways to incorporate them to build that natural motivation you're looking for.